Samson, the strong man from God. Based on the book of Judges 13 and 16. The promise of Samson's birth. A long time ago, there lived a man named Manoah and his wife. They loved God and prayed often, but they were very sad because they had no children. They hoped that one day God would give them a child to love and raise. One day, when Manoah's wife was working in the fields, something amazing happened. An angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are going to have a special baby, a son. God has chosen him to be a great man who will save the Israelites from their enemies, the Philistines." The angel gave her special instructions. "Your son must never cut his hair, because he will be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth. He will grow up to be very strong, and God will use him to do great things." Manoah's wife was so excited, she ran to tell her husband the good news. Manoah's prayer. When she told Manoah about the angel's message, he prayed to God and said, "Lord, please send the angel back so we can understand more about how to raise this special child." God heard his prayer, and the angel came again. This time, Manoah was with his wife. They listened carefully to the angel's words and learned how important it was to take care of their son and follow God's plan. Soon, just as the angel had promised, a baby boy was born. They named him Samson. From the time he was a little boy, Samson was different. He was strong, even stronger than other children his age. His parents loved him and reminded him that God had a special purpose for his life. Samson's amazing strength. As Samson grew up, he became stronger and stronger. He wasn't just strong like the other men in his village, he had superhuman strength because God was with him. Samson could do amazing things that no one else could do. For example, one time a lion attacked Samson while he was walking. But Samson didn't run away. Instead, he fought the lion with his bare hands and defeated it. Everyone was amazed at how powerful Samson was, but they knew his strength came from God. However, there was one important rule: Samson's hair must never be cut. If his hair was cut, he would lose all of his strength. It was a promise between Samson and God. Samson and the Philistines. As Samson became an adult, he used his strength to protect the Israelites from their enemies, the Philistines. The Philistines were a strong and powerful nation, but they were also cruel. They wanted to harm the Israelites and take their land. But whenever the Philistines tried to attack, Samson was there to stop them. He would fight them off, and they couldn't defeat him because God gave him the strength to protect his people. The Philistines were very angry. "How can we stop Samson?" they wondered. "He is too strong for us. We need to find a way to make him weak." Samson meets Delilah. One day, Samson met a woman named Delilah, and he fell in love with her. Delilah was very beautiful, and Samson thought she was kind. But the Philistines saw this as their chance. The leaders of the Philistines went to Delilah and said, "If you can find out the secret of Samson's strength and tell us how to make him weak, we will give you lots of money, more money than you've ever seen." Delilah liked Samson, but she loved money even more. So she agreed to help the Philistines. Delilah's Questions. One evening, as Samson and Delilah were talking, Delilah asked, "Samson, you are so strong. What makes you so strong? How could someone ever make you weak?" Samson didn't want to tell her the truth, so he played a little joke on her. "If someone ties me up with 7 new bowstrings that haven't been dried, I'll become weak," he said. That night, while Samson was asleep, Delilah tied him up with the bowstrings and whispered, "Samson, the Philistines are here." But when Samson woke up, he easily broke the bowstrings. Snap! Snap! He was still strong, and the Philistines couldn't catch him. Delilah was disappointed, but she didn't give up. Delilah keeps asking. The next day, Delilah asked again, "Samson, you didn't tell me the truth. Please, tell me how you can be made weak." Samson smiled and said, "If someone ties me up with brand new ropes that have never been used, I'll lose my strength." That night, while Samson was sleeping, Delilah tied him up with new ropes and said, "Samson, the Philistines are coming." But again, Samson broke free. Rip! The ropes were no match for his strength. Delilah was upset. "Why won't you tell me the truth?" she asked Samson. "If you love me, you would tell me your secret." She kept asking, day after day, until Samson was so tired of hearing the question. Finally, Samson sighed and told her the truth. "All right," Samson said. "My strength comes from God. I have never cut my hair. If my hair is cut, I will lose all my strength." Delilah knew this was the real secret. She quickly sent word to the Philistines, and they made a plan to capture Samson. Samson's strength is taken. That night, as Samson slept, Delilah quietly cut off all of his hair. Snip, snip. His long hair fell to the floor. When it was all gone, Delilah whispered, "Samson, the Philistines are coming." Samson woke up and tried to fight, but something was wrong. He had no strength. The Philistines captured Samson, tied him up, and took him away as a prisoner. The Philistines hurt Samson and made him work very hard in their prison. Samson felt weak and sad, and he knew he had made a mistake by telling Delilah his secret. But while he was in prison, his hair began to grow back. Samson prayed to God every day, asking for forgiveness and strength. Samson's last prayer. One day, the Philistines had a big party to celebrate their victory over Samson. They brought Samson out to make fun of him in front of a huge crowd. Everyone laughed, saying, "Look at Samson now. He's weak and helpless." But Samson prayed to God, "Lord, please give me strength one more time." The Philistines put Samson near the pillars of the temple. Samson leaned against the pillars and prayed again, "Lord, let me defeat these enemies for your people." With all his might, Samson pushed against the pillars. Creak, crack. The pillars began to shake. The entire temple started to fall. The Philistines screamed, but it was too late. The temple collapsed, and Samson defeated the Philistines. Even though he made mistakes, God still gave Samson the strength to do what was right in the end. The lesson of Samson's story. Samson's story teaches us that God can give us strength to do great things, but we must always follow his plan. Even when we make mistakes, God never stops loving us and can still use us for his great purpose. When we trust God and listen to him, we are stronger than anything we face.